So I titled today's sermon, Friends in High Places. In 1990, a song came out, and I can't even really, to be honest with you, I can't say the name of the song without singing it in my head. Garth Brooks released a song, Friends in Low Places. Y'all ever heard that song? I got friends in low places, where a certain type of non-Baptist beverages drown and something else chases, right? Okay. It's a song about a first-person story about a man who's too high class for the one he's singing to. I'm assuming it's a lady of some sort. He showed up in boots and ruined your black tie affair, as he sings, right? So the narrator is somebody that's the good old boy, and he seems to be falling in love with somebody who's a little high class, but this singer, this narrator, has friends in low places where he's going to hang out and drink his blues away. I don't encourage you to drink your blues away, but I do mention the song for a reason, is that, this song is about a guy who's got buddies. He's got friends. They're in low places, mind you, but he's got friends. You see, I'm not fancy. I ain't high class, none whatsoever. I'm just me. I don't know too many high class, hoity-toity people. I don't drink. But I do mind sharing a home-cooked meal with somebody and hanging out. I've got friends. But the sad thing is, most of my friends are in low places. They ain't in high class. I don't know fancy, powerful people. The only people I really know are somebody that might can, maybe get my late charge dismissed on my video rentals. That's about all I can do. I don't know anybody fancy by any means. I don't know the president. I don't know the governor. I don't know anybody, any movers or shakers. I don't know anybody important except for one fellow. And that's Jesus. You see, this Sunday and the next Sunday, we're going to talk about God and Father and Son, their relationship to humans. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to look at Hebrews chapter 4, verses 14 through 16. This is the NIV translation. Therefore, since we have a great high priest who has ascended into heaven, Jesus the Son of God, let us hold firmly to the faith we profess. For we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weakness. We have one who have been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet he did not sin. Let us approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need. The main thought of this passage is to hold on tightly. Now, I'm a student of language and grammar, but the main assertion in this, the main command in these few verses is hold on tightly. Hold on tightly. You see, the writer of Hebrews is a mystery. His audience is a mystery. We don't know a lot about the author. We don't know his name. Some speculate Paul, some speculate this and that. We don't know. The audience is a mystery. In fact, the term Hebrews is kind of archaic, out-of-date term, even by the time of Jesus' day. Some scholars and theologians think this letter was written to Christians who were facing pressure to give up their Christianity. They may have been suffering verbal or physical abuse, manipulation of the justice system. In fact, Hebrews 10:32 through 34 reads this way. Remember those earlier days when you received the light, when you endured a great conflict and full suffering. Sometimes you were publicly exposed to insult and persecution. At other times you stood by side those who were so treated. You suffered along with those in prison and joyfully accepted the confiscation of your property, because you knew that you yourselves had better and lasting possessions. You see, when society told the Christians to give up, the writer of Hebrews is saying, hold on. Don't give up. Hold on. Hold on tightly. My brother, before he passed when I was 8, he was a big motorcycle guy. He used to have Indians and Harleys. He would buy one, broke down, he'd build it back up and fix it. He'd take me on rides on his motorcycle. I've got a picture at the house of me when I was a little booger. I looked like Eliza, skinny, cute. Those days are long gone. But it was me and a picture of my brother in his motorcycle. I was on his motorcycle. Never forget brother saying, King would say, hold on tightly, don't let go. Mom's going to kill me if you fall off. But I had to hold on tightly. So what the writer of Hebrews is telling this congregation is, hold on tightly. In fact, verse 14, hold on firmly to the faith that we possess. What does hold on tightly entail? Well, it entails us holding on to this faith that we profess. What is this faith that we profess? Well, literally in the Greek it's the term confession. What is something that we confess? What is something that we say? Well, it's our allegiance to Jesus, who He is. This passage mentions Him being the Son of God. Many of us Christians profess Him as, or confess Him as Savior. This passage is telling us to hold on to our faith in God. Hold on to Jesus Christ and who we believe He is, and not give up and let the world beat us down. Hold on. You see, like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of giving up that the audience in Hebrews, the letter of Hebrews, they may be tempted to do. A lot of giving up. In fact, there's even hints of apostasy, turning their backs on God. Hebrews chapter 3 and chapter 6 mention some notions with scholars believe that there are some Christians in the audience of this letter, some Christians who have given up on God, turned their backs on God completely because they're facing so much persecution or stress to give up. It wasn't convenient. It wasn't easy. It was rough for this audience to be a Christian. We live in a world today where I fear that being a Christian is sometimes too easy. It's getting a little harder, but it's sometimes too easy. You know, there was a problem, I've heard people talk about this drug problem, being drugged to church. You ever heard that expression, drug problem, being drugged to church? There's a lot of people with different type of drug problems. They don't have to be a drug to church problem. You see, in this society today, we have a lot of people who are nuns, who don't affiliate with religion, or they may believe in God, but they don't want to believe in the way you perceive of your God. I don't want to be tied down by a denomination. In fact, let's drop Baptist from our name. I don't want to be tied down by religion. Don't tell me that Jesus is the only way. There's a bunch of other ways. We live in a society today where there are people who are backsliders. And I bet you we can look at the list of active and inactive members, and we can't find who they are. I got 3 or 4 lists in my office where the deacons have put together. There's some of those backsliders that the old folks may have called, old times may have called, that have given up just a little bit. Not all the way, but given up just a little bit. In fact, there's some that have given up even a little bit less, but they are attending bedside Baptist today. You ever heard the expression, attending bedside Baptist? I had a roommate in college who used to work late on Saturday nights, and sometimes he'd attend bedside Baptist, not go to church. He was a church planner for a while. He's recently gone back to work in Dare Shared Ministries. He's going to church now. But there are those that, for some reason, they don't hold on tightly enough. For them, Christianity is something kind of laissez-faire. Something that God is not important enough for them to hold on tightly. And things of culture pull and rip us from that relationship with God. Sometimes sleeping in is a little too convenient than being in the Lord's house to worship fellow believers. Sometimes, well, I got a ball game to go to this Sunday. Maybe next Sunday I'll go to the race, maybe watch the race, and after a while that habit is gone, and people have let go a little too much. You see, there used to be a day whenever the doors of the church were open, whenever an opportunity to serve God was open, somebody was there. There used to be this desire. I think a lot of people, that kind of wanes over time. Things of the world pull us. You know what Hebrews tells us about being together as Christians? You know, it's easy to get online and watch a video. We even put our services, at least the sermons, up on YouTube. A lot of churches do live streaming of services. It's easy to do that, but you know what? It's important for Christians to be together. Hebrews 10:25. Don't stop meeting together with other believers. With some people which some people have gotten into their habit of doing. Instead, encourage each other, especially as you draw near, which means as you see the day drawing near. Don't forsake the fellowship of believers, the gathering of believers. This is not just the Scott Henson stage show with the music very well led by Jennifer Whitlock and the choir. This is an opportunity for us to be together corporately, to hold on to the things that we profess so dear in Christianity. It's important for us to hold on to fellowship. The writer of Hebrews encourages us to fellowship together. You know, my heart is blessed to see some of the people who's here today. Alvin, Jean, Tim, those that have been sick and haven't been able to come for a while. My heart is blessed to see my brothers and sisters. It's like seeing family I haven't seen in a long time. That's important. That's holding on in some way tightly to this faith we profess. Sharing God's truth, whether in written form, oral form, sung, read, whatever, that is holding on to the faith that we tightly profess. Living our lives in service to God the right way, living like Christians should, is holding on to that faith we firmly profess. This passage tells us a little bit more why we should hold on tightly to this faith that we profess, this confession of ours. We have a great high priest, mentioned in verse 14. He's a mega high priest. You go to the store, and I worked in the grocery store for too long, I think. You get, you see sometimes in gas stations with drinks, you have small, medium, large, extra large, and mega size. Mega is always the biggest you can get, right? Jesus isn't just some high priest, he's the mega high priest. I did a little bit of word study on this. You look at some of these ancient sources, and you rarely ever see the term high priest described with the Greek word mega. It does occur outside the Bible, it's hardly ever in the Bible, but it occurs here in Hebrews because Jesus is a great high priest. There's something special about him as high priest. You see, he belongs to a priesthood that's even better and above and beyond what we find in the Old Testament order of Aaron. But what does a priest do? Well, a high priest, at least in the Bible, a priest was a mediator between God and the people. Jesus is our access to the Father. Look at the Gospels when Jesus was crucified, the veil was ripped in two. No longer do we have to have a high priest so we can access God and see the Father. We can see the Father or access the Father through Jesus Christ, the Son, our great high priest. He's better, higher, more important than any earthly high priest. This passage reminds us he ascended into heaven. You see, in the author's cosmology, their view of the world, Jesus passes through the material world, through the visible heavens, to enter the divine. A realm of God's presence. He is that mediator. He is our great friend in high places. He is Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Verse 14 lays out all these different things. He's great. He's sent to heaven. He's Jesus, the Son of God. To remind us that God the Son is, he transcends. He's better than us. We broken human people, he's higher and greater than us. He's that person that he's too famous and we're too low. We don't know. He's one of those important people that if he were a human being, I'd never ever meet. But Jesus is higher and greater. He's the Son of God who ascended into heaven. You see, he's not just some lofty, transcendent being, Jesus. He's not just somebody that's better than us. But the Bible tells us, especially Hebrews 4:15, that he is a high priest who's able to empathize with our weaknesses. We have one who's been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet he did not sin. Even though Jesus is some mighty, great, divine high priest, God, if you will, God the Son, He's not too good for us. You ever met somebody that's way too good for you? You know, we had the Cochran family last night. I was talking to one of the sons who teaches up at App, and talking about Bible stuff, and he mentioned a Bible scholar, and I said, yeah, I've met that guy before. He's one of those people that he knows he's smart. He really knows it too. And he lets you know it too. I've met a few people in my day that I tell them who I was, well, I'm too good for you. Wouldn't shake my hand. Jesus Christ isn't one of those people. Jesus Christ may be God divine, God transcendent, a great high priest, but He's able to empathize with our weaknesses. He knows what it's like to be tempted. He's been there, done that, as the expression goes, he's bought the t-shirt. Why was He born in backwater Bethlehem? In this little province, the Roman Empire that wasn't really worth much. Why was He born? A poor man's family. Maybe laid in the food trough. Why did He grow up? Why did He travel, meet people? Because He understands. He's able to resonate with us. You know, one of the things I learned about being in the grocery business, we would joke about this, I don't know for certain, but joke about it. We would say, you know, there's a lot of people in the corporate office making decisions that probably never ever had to bag groceries. There's a lot of people in the corporate office that probably never ever been cussed out by a customer because they didn't bag the groceries right or something ranked that's a penny too high. Those people out at that corporate office, you get out here now and do this stuff and understand what it's like. One of my favorite TV shows I used to watch a good bit, I haven't watched it forever, is Undercover Boss. You ever seen Undercover Boss? About these bosses that these big corporate companies, they work in their stores or franchise, they try to disguise themselves with really bad disguises. I don't know how they do it. It's a TV show, they probably don't fool anybody. They do these menial jobs, or they try to do these menial jobs. These people that run these companies don't know how to do the job. It's so funny, so comical. But you see, we have a great high priest who understands what it's like for us to be broken. He has overcome humanity. He's been human. He got out unscathed. One of my favorite rock and roll singers, players, Tom Petty, died recently. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, a guy from Florida. He had a song, and I'm not going to read the whole song to you because there's a few lines that are a little non-Christian-like, but there's a chorus that I often remind myself of sometimes. You don't know what it's like, or you don't know how it feels, You don't know how it feels to be me. You don't know how it feels to be me. One of my big things is walking in people's shoes, moccasins, as the saying goes. Jesus has been there. He's done that. He's walked a mile in our shoes. He was tempted in every way. Just as we've been. But the hope is, the good thing is, yet He did not sin. You see, the readers of Hebrews, they were tempted to give up on the faith, give up on the assembling together as believers. They were tempted to give up. The pressures of the world became too much. The temptation became too much. Jesus didn't give up. He was tempted and pressured too. He didn't give up. Even when He was in the garden saying, Father, take this, if this cup can pass from me, take it away. They didn't give up. Even on the cross, He endured for us. We have a high priest who is both mighty and great and mega. He knows what it's like to be us. He can empathize with us. So since we have a high priest who's great, we have a high priest who's mighty, we should approach the throne. Verse 16. Let us approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need. We need to approach God's throne with confidence. Approach is a kind of a worship word here, a cultic term. Just come to God. You know, back in the ancient world, you know, not anybody could just come to the king into the throne and just see the king. You know, you can't just go to the White House and knock on the door and go see the president, can you? If you try that, you might have several Secret Service people with guns up next to your head, right? But there was a day, believe it or not, when you could go to the White House, you could meet the president, anybody could. In fact, stories are told of presidents like Andrew Jackson, bloody Andrew Jackson, who would have government cheese, big old hoops of cheese out in the lobby of the White House. You can come see the president and get you a piece of cheese. Can you imagine that? Just randomly meet the president? We are told to meet Almighty God, to approach His throne. He is a great, mighty King. Not approach it humbly, mind you. You know, if I were to meet the president, I'd be very humble. Somebody of such power. If I were to meet a king or a queen, I'd be humble. Somebody with such power and sway. I think I could look up. You know. But with our God, we can approach His throne with confidence, with boldness. Because we've got a friend in high places. We've got Jesus. We've got the Son. He knows us. He loves us. He cares for us. So we can approach that throne. Another thing we need to do when we approach that throne, while we approach the throne, to receive mercy and find grace. What is mercy? Mercy is a redefinition to you. Quality in God by which He faithfully keeps His promises and maintains His covenant relationships with His chosen people despite their unworthiness and unfaithfulness. Another definition of grace. Grace is a dimension of divine activity that enables God to confront human indifference and rebellion with an inexhaustible capacity to forgive and to bless. We can come to God and get what we don't deserve. That's His love and His care and His forgiveness. We don't deserve those. But we can approach the throne and ask for that because we have a great high priest of Jesus, a friend in high places who knows what it's like to be us. People, we got a great resource. We do. We have Jesus Christ. But as the old hymn goes, do you know Him today? Do not turn away. You see, the thing about having friends in high places is you have to know those friends. The question is, do you know Jesus? You have that friend in high places. Well, if you have that friend in high places, are you going to him? Are you approaching that throne? Or are you, use a kind of modern metaphor here, do you have his phone number in your smartphone or your phone of some sort, but you're not calling? That's what a lot of people are doing these days. They know who Jesus is. They know Jesus. They've met Jesus. They've had a relationship with Jesus. But they ain't talking to Him like they should. They ain't worshiping like they should. They're not living their lives like they should. Like the Hebrews audience here, they want to give up. Whether explicitly or implicitly, let it fall by the wayside or just set it down and go. So the challenge to you is, do you know Jesus? Do you have a friend in high places? And if you have that friend in high places, are you making use of that friend in high places? As musicians come and as we sing today, meet that Jesus if you have it. You can come to the altar and you can pray. We'll talk about it. But if you have that friend Jesus, are you giving Him calls every now and then? Are you using His resources that you have? The altar's open to pray.